Üdvözlök mindenkit, akkor most visszatértünk, ahogy megígértem. És akkor fejezzük be ezt a játékot. Remélhetőleg be tudjuk fejezni a délután folyamán. Ugye itt a hídnál jártunk. Menjünk is.
Mee's force reached Cavaldon, a small, run-down town.
The Blackclads, they've a strong garrison in place.
Proclaimed her scouts upon returning from a foray.
And they stand prepared for a siege. Their stores overflow, and we see ballistas, scorpions.
Cavaldon can be taken,
Began Reynard hesitantly.
but not without losses. Considerable losses.
A retreat? Is that what you advise?
I fear the soldiers wouldn't take to such a course. They're eager, Your Grace. They've a fire in them. Order a retreat and you could devastate morale.
Our losses may be heavy,
Said Mee, drawing her sword.
but I'll make certain the vile invader suffers even more. Order the troops to prepare. We will attack.
Soon after, the Lyrians moved on Cavaldon, war drums rumbling in step to their march. Upon the walls, the Nilfgaardians stood poised to defend.
Na bulizzunk. Ó, shortened battle. Az jó. Akkor Reynardot kell kihúznunk. Ezt a bone talizmánt kidobom, ez nem kell. Tessék el lesz. Jó, megvan Reynard, megvan ő. Kész vagyunk, mehetünk.
I won't leave a single city to these invader scum! Valyria! Rivia!
Hol van? Ezt kijátszuk.
My, now that is some fancy weaponry. Bet it's still got that new war machine smell.
We must bring down their walls! Crush them!
Mi nem lehet kivenni azt. De nagy hülyeség. Mindegy.
Life is mine now!
As you wish, milady.
Wise choice.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? Eh? Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Order!
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
In retreat!
Egreto dum anime est, spes est.
Valamit úgyis ki kell játszani. Kijátszuk Gascont.
Nothing personal, I assure you.
course, as you wish, master.
I think you'll really like this one.
Önmagát húzza vissza. Az a legjobb.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman.
Zweifel!
Nem sok esély van szegénynek.
Something from nothing? It's exactly what I do.
My prescription, a bit of bloodletting.
Volt ez? Ez nem rossz az a lándzsa.
What's a helmet if not a pot turned over?
Discipline. That is what you folk lack.
A dram of glue, a bit of soldering, a rivet or two, and it's good as new.
Jó van, passzoljuk el. Ennél több damage-et nem nagyon tudok csinálni. Ó, az a Thunderbolt, az jól néz ki.
The city is ours.
Az 25.
The Nilfgaardians had indeed prepared well, with grapples to repel hook ladders from the walls and long spears to rain down upon attackers far below. Meve managed on the fourth attempt to breach the defences, but did so scrambling over the corpses of her own men. The Queen was in the field tent when Reynard arrived with surprising news. To be heard over the groans of the wounded, he had to raise his voice.
Your Grace, a delegation of townsfolk. They seek an audience urgently.
Dozens of burghers stood before the tent. Between them and the Queen, a man knelt in shackles. His face was blooded as if he'd endured a vicious beating just moments before.
Who's this?
Our blacksmith, Todo.
Snarled a priestess in a frayed robe.
He betrayed you, Your Grace. Soon after the Nilfgaardians arrived, within hours in truth, he offered his labour and strength. They didn't even need to ask. Forged arms and armour for them, all for imperial gold.
Meave gripped the beaten man's beard, tugged upwards, and looked him in the eyes.
Did you forge the hooks and the tips for those spears?
I did, Your Grace.
It was fine work.
Growled the Queen.
Damned fine.
Show him mercy, milady!
Cried a withered old man in a flour-spattered apron.
When the black-clad bastards captured my son, they were eager to hang him. Todo spoke for him, saved his life.
He helped me too!
Hollered a woman in the crowd.
I were hungry. He shared what little he had.
The townsfolk began shouting over one another. Some told of the blacksmith's noble deeds. Others labelled him a traitor deserving of a cruel and violent end. Meave turned back towards the field hospital, pondering the case. Then spotted her soldiers' corpses laid out in rows. Had it not been for Todor, there might not have been so many.
This man forged arms for the Nilfgaardians. 'Tis true.
Said Meave to the crowd.
Yet you, Baker, baked the bread they ate. And you, Potter, stained the cups from which they drank. Willingly or not, each of you aided the invader. Where does pursuing one's craft end and treason begin? I've no answer to that. So I shan't punish any for doing merely what's theirs to do.
Upon hearing the verdict, the Queen's troops stared in disbelief, then began to boil. As she walked back calmly to the tent, they jeered and hissed. At the last, it took Reynard to calm them down. Meave had saved Todor, but she was convinced she'd not see the blacksmith again. Come evening, he returned to the camp, with a wagon full of arms so new they shone.
If it weren't for you, Your Grace, they'd have torn me to bits with their bare hands.
He said, kneeling before her.
I thank you for speaking up for me. For my innocence, that is. I've a gift for you. A gift I knows you'll put to proper use.
Meave took a spear in hand, put it to her shoulder, and gazed down the shaft. The tip glowed red in the light of the setting sun.
Of that, my friend, you can be sure.
Na, még egy fegyver. Na nézzük, ez milyen. Jaj, most mindenki negatívoskodik. Kit érdekel? Ez mit csinál?
Freedom will cost us dearly. Dearly indeed. Freedom will Freedom will...
How could you, Your Majesty? He's crafted weapon for it blackclads. The very same what killed our lads.
Jó van. Öcsém ezek az emberek.
How could you, Your Majesty? How could you?
Jó van. How could you? How could you? Ez a...
Your Majesty. The hut's untouched. Ripe grain in the fields, 'tis hard to believe. I feared we'd have another Edirn here, with the blackclads setting fire to all.
I feared nothing of the sort. Nilfgaard's not stupid. Lands it aims to hold it doesn't destroy. And Willem did bend the knee to the Emperor.
Csata? Fú, előtte jó lenne szerezni mondjuk, hogy hívják ott. Na mindig bemegyünk. Előtte ezt összeszedjük. Annyi pénzünk van? Hát én nem tudom. Te nem kell lesz? Hát nem tudom, szerintem Arniolfot is ki fogom venni. Azt elrakjuk, ó, az nagyon jó. Ez rendes csata, nem? Gascont meg Isbelt akkor kiveszem.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Na mit adsz? Mutasd.
Scrubbing duty again? Oh god.
Mutasd magad. Scrubbing duty. Két körös, akkor a reinforcementet most elhasználom.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Ha valami értelmes.
New orders? No? Ah.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
Nem tudom mikor fogja elpasszolni a kört.
Catch him! He's worth 20 florins!
Ellopta a kutyámat! Hát én szétszedem. Hát ellopta a kutyámat. Fú, de szétszedem a fejét.
As you wish, milady.
Hát adod vissza. Hát nem szégyelled magad, ellopod a kutyámat. Hát úristen. Azért raktam be a flailt, mert kíváncsi vagyok, hogy hogyha flail van, akkor is tudok-e stackelni charge-okat. Jó, csapdát tudtam szerezni. Nem, ezt a dobost akartam kijátszani.
Left, right, left, right.
Valami jó egységet játszik, úgy is ellopom.
Again and again and again.
A dram of glue, a bit of soldering, a rivet or two, and it's good as new.
Nem akartam kijátszani, na mindegy.
Army's a waste of time for one like me.
Azt bedobjuk. Na, a Gascon.
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Egy kutya, két kutya.
From half a league away.
Nagyon kit lopjunk el?
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
Aha, tehát ez így nem kell.
Obedience or the lash!
Ezt még ki akarom játszani, mielőtt kasztolunk bármi. Vagy ezt, vagy a líriai kürtöt.
Back in line!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Hey, hey, don't toss that. It's perfectly usable.
Used to be, I hunted game. Men bring more coin.
Nézzük, mi történik, hogyha ellopom ezt. Aha, akkor ott marad az egységem.
Jericania, source of
the best goods.
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
So much anger and suffering. For what?
Na mit csinálsz még? Utálom a Nilfgaardiakat, olyan sokáig gondolkodik a gép. De hogy mire? Minek kell ennyit gondolkodni? Az igen.
That will do.
Hú, de idegesítő. Hát jó van, akkor ellopjuk ezt. Na, hát megérdemelt, hogy nullára vertük. Na mutasd, mi van még a térképen. Aha. Tehát most azért elmegyek, utána ide följövünk, ezt elintézzük, és akkor utána mehetünk itt balra. Jó. Előre itt alul láttam egy lootot. Akkor itt az körbe kell menni érte valószínűleg. Ladadi, ladada. Ó, itt majd tudunk. Eltesszük, mert kell ez alap. Hopp, itt van egy... Ezt felfedeztük már? Nem tudom, de megnyitjuk megint. Nehogy véletlenül vissza kelljen gyalogolnunk. Hát ezt majd lefelé. Van itt valahol csata? Nem látok csatát egyenlőre. Használjuk el. Annyival könnyebb lesz most. De olyan mindegy, hogy most negatívba vagy pozitívba vagyunk. Rendes csata. Ez jó hosszú. Kutya nem. Csont nem. Jó, odónk van. Kovácsunk van. Na így jó lesz.
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
Hey?
Wise choice.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
That was not in the spell books.
As you wish, milady.
Off to the front yet again.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Eddig jók vagyunk. Ja? Lezárom a kört. Nem váltottunk vissza a Sihilre.
Hundred and one, 102, 103.
Left, right, left, right. Again and again.
Quick and painful this'll be.
Nem volt még egy dobosunk? Ezt ellopjuk.
Quiet! What the gods are we here?
Army's a waste of time for
Wanna
me.
know why I got my scar?
Nem, vannak idegesítőbbek. Jó lesz, ezt kijátszom. Időhúzásnak kell, úgyis csak.
Order!
Téged ütlek. Na.
Hey?
Erről van szó.
Something from nothing? It's exactly what I do.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Have her done in a jiffy.
Off to the front yet again.
It's not too late to walk away.
Na, mit lépsz?
Quiet, or the commissar will hear.
Tell me you jest.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
Left, right.
I think
left,
you'll really like
right.
this one.
What's a helmet if not a pot turned over?
Na, mi az utolsó lapod? Passzoljuk, nem tudom megölni. Aha, ott egy földomlás volt. Van valami puzzle. Van megint tehenek, meg bikák. Összes ellenséges egységet el kell pusztítani. Ja, tehát csak... Úristen. Fú. Ez ebbe meg fog halni. Valami hasonlóképpen kell csinálni. És mi, hogyha ezt kicserélem ezzel? Valahogy így kéne pedig. Nem tudom. Hú, ez de hülyeség volt. Még van valami. Na.
Broadhead now loomed before Meve and her force. Once famous for its glowing forges and clanking manufactories, the city now stood silent. Why, you might ask? Because Mahakam. Decades past, it had opened its gates to human merchants and dwarven arms, exquisitely crafted and not nearly as dear as those made by man. The caravans had simply stopped coming to Broadhead. When its black-clad garrison spotted the Lyrians approaching, they'd hastily fled, left the city's gates open wide. Yet, they did not leave empty-handed. their convoy comprising at least a dozen wagons loaded ostensibly to the hilt.
With what might they have fled?
With something damn heavy,
replied Gascon, squinting his eyes.
Look at this. 2 horses to pull each wagon, and the wheels cut deep into the road.
What they've taken from my city,
began the Queen.
they've taken from me. And I will have it back. Follow me!
Meve spurred her horse and galloped off in pursuit of the fleeing caravan. When the Blackclads realized they had no hope of escape, they planted pikes and feet, bracing for the assault.
Nem visztek el semmit. Minden az enyém.
Stop! Whatever you carry belongs to me!
They gain ground! Dal Seifel!
Hey?
Life is mine now!
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
As you wish, milady.
Wise choice.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Következő körbe Odó, meg hősképesség. Tutyut meg tudják ölni. Más nem, de kutyát tudják lőni egyáltalán az immunitás alatt? Szerintem nem. Hú, de utálom azt a lapot. Így is van.
Order!
A dram of glue, a bit of soldering, a rivet or two, and it's good as new.
Hey? Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Hát igen. Mit kezdesz akkor, hogyha én nálam vannak a veterányaid?
My boots got sand aplenty in them.
Her Majesty knows what she's doing.
Biztos, hogy nem.
Oh, could murder a pint.
Biztos, hogy nem. Jabo!
Again and again and again.
Jabo!
Enough! I refuse to die for these scraps!
Me personally, and none too gently, shackled the Nilfgaardian commander, a young nobleman with a precisely trimmed moustache. Like many noble Imperials, he spoke fluent common.
The wagons. What's in them, Captain?
Scrap, Your Majesty.
The Imperial promptly replied. Noting the Queen's confusion, he elaborated.
To be melted down and recast into arrowheads and spear tips. Our engineers originally planned to use the foundries in Broadhead, yet these proved too primitive. We were ordered to remove the scrap, take it elsewhere.
Any pride from the victory vanished in an instant, and Meave swelled with anger, but also with shame. The shame came from realizing that to the invader her realm was naught more than a weak, underdeveloped backwater. Meave slammed the chest she'd opened shut.
Blast it! Back to Broadhead. Let's ride.
Crumbling walls, shattered windows, rotted wood. Broadhead was bleak, a dull shadow of its former self. As the Lyrians entered, the somber townsfolk glared at the arrivals and uttered not a word. Meave resolved to address the crowd.
Folk of Broadhead, you're free at last. The Nilfgaardian occupation is done.
Aye, and a new one starts now.
Are you mad, man? Don't you recognize our banners? The Lyrian army stands before you.
Oh, I recognise banners. Served neath them as a sergeant 15 long years. And then I came back to my hometown. Know what I found? Hardship and squalor, your grace. All had gone to shite. On account of damn dwarves. Been flooding Rivia with their metal goods for years now. Us smiths don't so much as light their pipes in their foundries no more. You call yourselves the Lyrian army. Colours and banners confirm it. Well, what about your arms? Weren't forged in us fires, but in Mahakams. By us worst foes. Hell, I even see some at knobheads in your ranks. So what freedom's it you're giving us, your grace? Freedom to beg in common, not in Nilfgaard's mongrel tongue?
Beg? What are you on about, man?
There's no levy on goods from Mahakam. But without it, us workshops don't stand a chance. And ye, your grace, you wear their armour, bear their arms, and bring bearded bastards to our doorstep.
The dwarves are faithful allies. They help us because...
'Cause they've got something to gain. Simple as that.
Enough. Silence. Consider yourself lucky you've a merciful queen. I'd have had your head off by now. Move along.
Before Meave could leave the market square, Barnabas politely interjected.
Frankly speaking, there's a bit of truth to what the man says.
I'm perfectly aware of that. But what do you want?
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but perhaps I might be of some help.
Do tell how. I'm all ears.
Everything your folk make here, the dwarves of Mahakam make twice as fast and twice as well. You must find a so-called niche, an innovation. And it just so happens innovations
are your speciality.
Yeah, yeah.
At the risk of being immodest, exactly. Besides, it might serve the cause of peace to show the folk here, non-humans, are not all bad, that they can help. Not just steal human jobs and piss in their milk.
I'll consider it, Barnabas. I shall think and let you know.
The time came to leave Broadhead, so Meave summoned her advisors, eager to hear their counsel. They put forth ideas, many of merit, but the Queen would decide the city's future. After careful deliberation, the Queen approved Barnabas's proposal. He would manage the city's ailing industry and seek to restore it to health.
Barnabas, just please, do your best not to blow it all up.
Don't you worry, Your Grace. The only boom in this town's future is that of the economics.
Imádom Barnabás. Most itt hagyjuk Barnabás, de...
At first, the Rivian townsfolk were skeptical of the Queen's decision. But Barnabas's schemes bore immediate fruit. Soon the foundries and manufactories were bustling with life. Before long, Meave herself received new goods produced there.
Now, I'm no ally of gnomes or any freaks, but this Barnabas bloke, he's not a bad apple. Now, I'm no ally... Now, I'm no ally of gnomes or any freaks, but this Barnabas bloke...
The wind howls like a ghastly apparition.
Jézus jó úristen, mennyi pénzünk van. Hát menjünk. Ó, itt lesz egy altár is. Ott egy puzzle. Hát jó van. Nézzük meg ezt a puzzle-t. Sea Hill. A legközelebb át kell állítanunk.
You can pay the toll in one of two ways. In silver or in blood.
My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Of course I'll manage. I trained a full week.
Greetings. What is it?
Kiket kell elpusztítani? Slave driveröket.
Stick 'em up! High as the clouds! Now!
Greetings. What is it?
You can pay the toll in one of two ways. In silver or in blood.
Greetings. What is it?
Vártok, és mi van akkor, hogyha...
You might have got away had you not been hauling so damn much.
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud.
The mist's gonna pass me those lovely earrings? Or do I tear 'em off myself?
There's been a mistake. I'm no mage. Greetings. What is it?
Pointy end upwards, right?
Nem, fordítva.
Stick 'em up! High as the clouds! Now!
If anyone asks, you've not seen me. There's been a mistake. I'm no mage.
Pointy end upwards, right? Life had me ploughed, now here I'm marching proud. Aye.
Jó, azért még visszajövünk. Az utolsó darabot szerintem tőle kéne megszerezni. Dragon's Dream. Na nézzük csak.
Rivia Castle. Seems our journey nears its end.
That end could yet prove tragic. We've daunting tasks ahead. Pride. It's all I ever felt pondering those walls. Yet now, to behold them from below, I truly do wish we hadn't built them so tall.
Nézzük meg, hogy mindent megszereztünk-e. Na és akkor itt lesz a vége a játéknak, úgy néz ki. Mindent összeszedtünk, amit tudtunk.
The castle of Rivia now loomed before the Lyrians. Water surrounded it on three sides, and dual defensive walls studded with podgy turrets completed its perimeter. It was famously difficult to take, and had changed hands only once, a few months before, when traitors opened its gates to the Nilfgaardians. Foreign banners waved upon the walls. The golden sun and General Epdahi's crest on Rivia's walls. The walls of home. There was somber silence among the troops, the glee and pride of many triumphs suddenly gone. For each knew if the Queen ordered an assault, most would lie dead by sunrise.
Your Majesty,
began Reynard in a reassuring tone.
We needn't strike quickly. We've time on our side. To prepare would be wise. 2 months, I wager. Perfectly enough. We stop supplies from getting through. They'll capitulate, I've little doubt. Or at worst, be too weak to defend the fortress.
Reynard's reasoning was sound. There was no need for urgency. Meave had the upper hand for the first time in this war.
Pillanat, telefont kaptam. Itt vagyok.
These invaders have grown fond of Rivia Castle,
said Meave.
So let them stay and rot. Reynard, erect road barricades and guard posts between city and citadel. Gascon, seize all boats, barges, anything that floats. Stop anything from entering from the lake. Move!
Soon Rivia Castle stood isolated from the world outside its walls. All roads leading to it were blocked, impassable. Fishing boats, a cordon, embraced the fortress on Loch Escalot. The lanterns on their bows glowed like fireflies in summer. Then, an emissary from the castle brought a message for the Queen. General Ep Dahi wished to meet, face to face, and half the way between the citadel and the Lyrian camp.
Well, well, some general,
smirked Gascon.
We've barely snapped the trap shut, yet he's already shaking in his knickers.
Meave proceeded to the meeting point without delay. A lone rider soon appeared on the horizon. He came adorned in rich black robes, their golden trim shimmering in stray sunbeams. She'd seen him before, in Edirn, through the megascope.
You came as I requested. Good. Very good.
I couldn't possibly refuse such a courteous invitation, especially as compared to your previous missive. The art of diplomacy, you've improved your grasp.
Your realm fell quickly. I expended little strength in seizing it. This left me much time to study. But please, we must set aside this bitterness. I'd like to formally welcome you to Rivia, dear Queen.
I see you've readily adopted the role of gracious host in my home.
In point of fact, I've grown fond of the castle. Fortifications impressive, atypical of the north. Not so your brave soldiers, whom we shall pick off like ducks. I pity them, in fact.
Dry your eyes, General. Rest easy. I've no plans for a quick assault. I shall first wait to hear the rumbling in your bellies.
Remarkable. You truly believe you can win this war? I've not been in the North long, but have discovered something all the same. You don't grasp complex ideas. You know Nilfgaard is large, but your minds don't fathom its enormity. You see, for every army you defeat, another will come to take its place. One larger and better equipped than the one before. Even now, as we so pleasantly chat, Army Group East is en route to lift your siege. Due to arrive tomorrow. And you know what will happen when they do. They will crush you against your own castle's walls, like the maddening flea you are.
A charming analogy, but get to the point. Why'd you ask for this meeting?
For this very reason. I wish to see you with my own eyes.
They did not see enough in Edirn? Are you such an admirer of feminine beauty?
You flatter yourself. No, in you, I see an animal. Game. Prey. And as the hunt's due to start soon, I needed a more detailed image of the beast I'll be looking for.
You? On a hunt? Those delicate hands have never held spear or bow. Nout sharper than a letter opener, I wager. Tomorrow you will not be on a hunt. Tomorrow you will be at war. You best pray to all your gods you don't find me.
Without awaiting a response from General Dahi, Neve pivoted and turned toward camp. Her pace was quick, despite a heavy heart.
As a rule, human fortifications aren't worth a pound of shale-marshite. But this fort sure turned out all right for you. Plowing hell! Got no chance against these walls. Tricks to stay positive, isn't it, Your Majesty? Plowing hell! As a rule,
Nagyon király. Ez a táborunk, a rendes táborunk. Hogyha megnézitek. Nagyon durva.
Gonna be one hell of a night! Ah! 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 Don't you dare sound the retreat, got it? My axe craves blood, Nilfgaardian blood! Don't you dare sound the retreat, got it?
Always darkest before the dawn. Always darkest before the dawn. Let us hope this proves the war to end all wars. Always darkest before the dawn.
Ez szép, és oda hova kell menni? Itt fenn. Hú. Jó kis vár.
Meave's closest advisors already awaited her in the command tent. In a few brief words, the Queen gave a report of the meeting, only with great effort masking the quavering in her voice.
An army, an immense one, approaches from the west. If we meet in open battle, we stand not a chance.
Damn it! Why did no one warn me?
Our scouts were discovered, captured. It must be that.
We must flee? Not at all heroic, I admit, but sure as hell better than being trampled into the dirt.
Easily said, but for a problem. Our force is chiefly infantry. The army that draws near includes cavalry, several regiments. We cannot hope to escape them. We cannot hope to hide.
What do you advise?
We've two options. Capitulate,
Out of the question.
or take the castle. Tonight.
Suppose for a moment it's possible. Tell me how and at what cost. Are we to scale a mountain of comrades' corpses to reach the top of the wall? I know we're at war and many die, but to command our troops to take that citadel is to condemn them to certain death.
Rivia's walls are unassailable, I fully agree. But there's more than one way to take any fort, and this fort too.
I think I like where this is going.
I know this citadel like no one else. I know its one potential weakness. The boat landing.
Wait, that narrowest of piers between the two turrets? The one where the fishermen would land?
The same. As I'm sure you recall, Your Grace, at that narrow pier's end stands a narrow door leading straight into the fortress. A small detachment could approach unnoticed, overwhelm any sentries, and get inside.
What then?
They would need to pass through the fort to the winch in the guardhouse, open the gate for the rest of the force.
Reynard, I'll be honest. It sounds right mad.
Perhaps, but as options go, we have it alone.
And I'm to choose to send folk there? Most certainly to die.
You needn't choose anyone, for I volunteer, and will take only those willing to do the very same.
Bloody wretched plan.
And you've a better one, do you?
Of course. I'll go instead.
Beg your pardon? I don't.
Face it, Reynard, you couldn't sneak past a corpse. Sound like a bloody tambourine in that armour. Apart from which, you're Maeve's right hand. So you ought to be by her side when the fighting starts.
Most kinyírom az egyiket? Na már.
Firstly, Reynard, I'm grateful. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, Your Grace.
But truth be told, I did indeed hear you walking to the tent from the other side of camp. And yes, you know Rivia Castle better than anyone else, but the assault must transpire silently. Gascon will lead the force.
Understood, Your Grace.
Cheers, Maeve. I'll try not to disappoint.
You won't, I'm sure. God speed you on your way, and please, try your damnedest not to die.
Gascon hand-picked his men, those most adept with daggers, not swords. Noiselessly, they glided through the dark toward the castle, the light of its lanterns blurred by the evening mist. Maeve watched anxiously as the boats glided away, her heart pounding in her ears. All depended on this mission. The fate of her realms, perhaps all the North, the lives of her troops, and her own. Now there was naught she could do but wait.
Good luck,
she whispered, gazing at the fortress walls, cloaked by the dark that seemed to surround all now. The Lyrians prepared for battle, their silence absolute, in darkness, illuminated only by the pale light of the moon. Maeve was restless. She paced nervously in a circular pattern, awaiting the signal they'd agreed upon.
Blast, it's taking long. Much, much too long.
Finally, a torch's faint glow appeared atop the towering walls. It disappeared, then glowed again, and one more time around. Maeve leapt in the air and as she did so, barely stifled a cry of utter joy.
They made it. It worked.
Moments later, Lyrians in the hundreds burst from the trees. The Nilfgaardian defenders loaded their catapults and ballistae. They did so slowly, convinced the castle walls remained impenetrable. Then they heard chains, grinding and clinking, and the sound sent shivers down their spines. Bewildered, they watched the main gate rise as the attacking force rushed forth. General Epdahi dispatched an elite unit to take back the winch at once. Yet he saw this was in vain and all was lost when Meve rode into the castle courtyard. Meve had begun the day known as a great warrior. Yet by night's end, legend was the cloak she wore. Her shield stopped powerful blow after blow as her blade found gaps in her foe's black armor. At first, Nilfgaardians scoured the fray in search of the queen, hoping to prove great heroes. Soon, she was their chief scourge, and they began to flee before her blade that sung their death.
Retreat! Retreat!
What was this extraordinary vigor that surged through Meve? Naturally, she wished to liberate her castle and realm, drive off the invaders, defeat the arrogant General Epdahi. But in that moment, above all else, she longed to fight her way through to the guardhouse and bring Gascon's party relief.
Follow me! Move! Move!
Meve had expected the worst, a bloodbath, piles of corpses. Yet all in the guardhouse was eerily quiet and calm. The door to the winch room lay shattered, true, but this was the one sign there'd been any sort of struggle. What happened here? She thought. Cautiously, she entered, looking, searching for any trace of Gascon and his fighters. Instead, she spotted Willem, curled up in a corner, clutching his bloodied belly, his fingers not enough to stop all the holes. Meve tore off her cloak and went to stem the bleeding.
Willem, what happened here?
My wrongs. I sought to right them.
Wheezed the prince.
Please, forgive me.
The young prince choked on this last word, did not manage to utter it, before his eyes went dull. Moments later, her men entered the room to find the queen kneeling, pounding the wall with her fists, her eyes flooded with tears. Willem lay motionless beside her, covered by her cloak. Gascon pushed his way through the other foot soldiers. He knelt beside the queen and whispered what had happened. His unit had not managed to reach the gate in time, but Willem had. Upon seeing Lyrian forces converging on the fort, the prince had rushed to the guardhouse and opened the gate himself. By the time Nilfgaardians closed it again, it was too late. The Lyrians were through. The queen rose, her fists clenched, her shoulders rigid, her knuckles white. Her face betrayed no sorrow, no despair, just rage, hot as a forge, immeasurable.
Now's not the time to mourn.
Seethed Meve, struggling to stay calm.
Now's the time for war, for slaughter, revenge. With victory today, we'll recover our home, return to our kin and set our blades aside at last. Yet until victory is ours, they must drink. Drink greedily of Nilfgaardian blood!
The Lyrians were at the brink, near their breaking point. They'd followed Meve for thousands of miles, over snow-clad peaks, through forbidding swamps. They'd fought, survived countless battles at her side, and though their gazes were now weary, she knew they'd follow her into fire.
Your Grace, the Blackclads, they've holed themselves up in the upper keep. We went to breach the wall, alas to no avail.
Meve nodded, twirled her sword, then leapt upon a mount. Her eyes spoke pure determination.
So we'll bloody well try again. This is the end, Ebdahi. Do you hear me? I shall stick your head on a pike.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Köszöntem.
I must thank you. Your fortress has superbly solid walls.
Hey? Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Necessity! Invention's mum.
Ezt már nem tudom állom. Ja, immunis. Ja, de... Olyan jó, hogy nem látszik, hogy immunis mondjuk az alatt.
Enough! I do not need to hear this. Kill her!
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Fools! I'm surrounded by fools!
Még tudok cserélni. Nagyon jó. Gaszkont kicserélem. A Blacksmith nem cserélem ki.
Left, right, left, right.
Then retreat!
When will you ever learn?
Tervezem megnyerni ezt azért is.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
Something from nothing? It's exactly what I do.
Again and again and again. Barbarians.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Quick and painful this'll be.
Eh?
Tell me you jest.
As you wish, milady.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Discipline shall bring us victory!
Warum?
I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away.
I warned you.
Death is only the beginning!
Have her done in a jiffy.
Archers, let it be night. Obscure the sun with arrows.
A highly curious case.
Scheiß in zwei!
Off to the front yet again.
Quiet, or the Kommissar will leave. Scheiß in zwei!
Where is he? Tell me where!
Nilfgaard had the upper hand, yet the black-clad spirits had suffered. They now made more use of shields than of swords. When Meve finally broke through their line, they raised their arms in surrender. Rivia Castle had fallen. It was hers once more.
Trocker! Nein zu Wien!
Meve showed her prisoners of war mercy, knowing full well they'd only followed orders. Death would be the fate of only Ardal ep Dahi, the one Nilfgaardian who'd issued those commands. Alas, the general had disappeared. A prisoner revealed ep Dahi had fled as soon as the Lyrians had surged towards the upper keep. He had glided down to the lower castle in a wicker basket for transporting food. Curled up beneath potato skins and other scraps, he'd scurried away not unlike a common maggot. Meve cursed her luck and leaned back against a merlin. Dawn was yet a few hours off, but the horizon had already begun to glow blood red. The Nilfgaardian reserves now drew near, too late to prevent the castle's fall.
I'll get him,
muttered the Queen, more to herself than anyone else.
I swear on all that's sacred I'll catch the bastard. But now we've a pressing matter to see to. Preparing the defense.
That night the war turned, with the battle for Rivia Castle as its fulcrum. Maeve's great victory, not only retaking the stronghold in a single evening, but also fending off a further invading army, proved the Nilfgaardian Colossus had feet of clay. The armies of the north had united and now seemed to be on the attack everywhere. Imperial forces, while still far more numerous, lay stretched over thousands of miles. Their position was untenable, and Nilfgaard's commanders knew this. In a decisive battle, they yet stood a chance, so they gave said battle, and suffered a resounding defeat. Just a few months on from that memorable night in Rivia, the Imperial army was in utter disarray. Aldersburg, the fortress, remained a last point of resistance. General Epdahi and what had survived of Army Group East had dug in there, this place, where Nilfgaard had triumphed grandly in the war's early days, would now bear witness to its impending defeat. It seems history, after all, has a sense of justice, or humor, or both. Though Maeve had already reclaimed her realm, she refused to retire her sword just yet. For King Demavend had requested her aid in purging Edirn of the invader. How could she refuse? She owed the king a favor, firstly. Yet she also had a burning desire to settle the score with Epdahi.
Demavend's envoy and I spoke, Your Majesty. The king has Aldersburg surrounded. He awaits and won't begin the assault till you arrive.
Good. I truly hate to miss it. Tell the troops to prepare. Gear and ire.
Of course, Your Grace.
Yes? Is there something else?
Pardon my boldness, Your Grace, but I can't help but be concerned. You don't sleep. You have the air of illness about you.
Reynard, I just buried my son, who died in my arms, God's damn it.
Yes. Died a hero. Your Majesty, I wasn't sure Willem could ever wash away the shame. He'd betrayed his country, his mother, aligned with the fiercest of our foes. But his actions in Rivia washed away his wrongs. Willem showed himself worthy to be called your son. I don't say any of this to deepen your grief, Your Majesty. I mean merely for you to be proud of him.
You're right. I thank you, Reynard. That I needed to hear. We've talked enough. We must march on to Aldersburg.
Your Grace, if I may. Some of our comrades in arms would like a word with you. The war nears its end. Paths are likely to diverge.
I see. Thank you. I shall stop by the mess tent later.
Look, 'tis... Look, 'tis Maeve, slayer of the Black Lads. Long live the Queen! Just watch and wait. I wager you'll chase the Emperor himself off the throne. They say war's a man's affair, but you showed them, my lady. Just watch and wait. Just watch.
Na, akkor ez lesz itt a végjáték.
Huh? What is it now?
The war nears its end.
Sadly,
Sadly, why?
I survived. Again. Rebuild your land, Queen. Enjoy your life. Me and my men, we'll be moving on.
Arnulf, in Lyria and Rivia, your past matters not. Nor does your shame. Stay.
What about after? What do I tell my ancestors when the time comes? I yearn to sit at their table, lass, and drink mead in their company, so go I must.
So long, Arnulf.
Always good to see the Queen.
Our conversation in Mahakam. Do you recall it? When you resolved to join my force, leave your homeland?
Of course. Clear as day, that. You saved me and my clan. I'm in your debt. Will be for some time.
Well, we've won the war. And you had a hand in the victory. Heavily so. As I see it, you've more than repaid your debt.
Feeling a wee bit choked up, as King Desmond said when an assassin's bolt ran clear through his esophagus. Come here and give us a squeeze.
Later, perhaps. But Gabor, any plans for what comes next?
Ha! I wasn't expecting to have this chat, so I'm a bit caught with my knickers down past my knees.
War's over, but we've much left to do. Our relations with non-humans, for instance. I mean to improve them. And I think you could help, Gabor, greatly so.
Meaning, you'd like me to stay in your court? I'd see it as an honour, your majesty. An honour true.
We shall return to this...
No skin off my...
Hey ho, how's my...
So, what awaits you now? What will you do?
Been contemplating it of late. Thought I might go back to the life of an outlaw. Not that I'd expect you to approve.
You're quite right, I wouldn't. It's why I wish to make certain you'll not feel tempted. Gascon, I hereby bestow upon you a number of estates near Scala.
What? Maeve? Damn it, I don't know what to say.
Ha! A first?
Thank you, Maeve. 1,000 thanks.
'Tis I who should thank you. With all my heart. It's time I attend...
I'm pleased to see...
The war's near its end. The future, what does it hold for you, Isbel? Wise counsel will always find a place at my court.
Nem fogja elfogadni.
A tempting offer, ma'am. So be it. I shall stay. But I've one condition. You're never to force me to wear shoes.
These terms I can agree to. Duty calls.
Of course.
Yes, Your Grace?
The war nears its end. What next for Reynard Odo?
Whatever you command, Your Grace. Is something amiss, my lady?
Beszéljünk oda! Gyerünk!
To be perfectly blunt, I've no...
Your Grace? Would you wish me to leave? Remove me from the court?
Oh no! Szedd már össze magad!
No, Reynard. I'd wish you to stay. But I'd no longer wish to be your queen alone. Do you catch my meaning?
I do, Maeve. I do.
It's time I attended to other matters.
Now though! Na, beszéltünk mindenkivel. Minden fasza.
The Lyrian army had grown into a great serpent. So much so that riding at the column's tail, Niamh could not see its head. Footmen, cavalry, and archers stretched like a glistening snake between two horizons. Niamh had come a long way indeed, and she felt proud. Suddenly, Niamh heard angry cries and the clash of steel against steel, all at the column's front.
Those ranks! To the left! Man's left! Support the flank!
Niamh drew her sword, spurred her horse, and galloped forward along the line of troops. Then, through the swirling battle dust, she spotted shimmering golden suns.
Ez rövid csata lesz szerintem. Még mindig nem fejlesztettük ki. Jó, hát ennyi dobos nem kell a földön se. De megvan odó meg izé, az jó. Gaszkon nem kell, az nagyon jó. Te nem kell ezt, te sem kell ezt, te még annyira sem.
Surround them!
152, 154.
Az igen.
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
Okay.
Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
As you wish, my lady.
New orders? No? Ah.
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
Hey? Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth? Thing about slings, they hide well.
Nilfgaard!
Left, right, left, right.
In retreat!
Again and again and again.
I'd hoped we could solve this some other way.
Nilfgaard!
Igen, van még valamit?
Brach! Scheiß! In! Zwei!
We must trust each other.
Off to the front yet again.
Mercy! Have mercy!
Normally disciplined, determined to an extreme, these Nilfgaardians quickly broke rank and ran.
Deserters! Leaderless cigarettes.
A scout reported.
Headed south they was, towards the frontier.
Chained prisoners now sat along the dusty road. Meave stopped in front of one. He was ragged and unshaven. Flies had taken an interest in his poorly bandaged hand. Spotting the Queen, he lowered his head and quivered with terror.
I know you take us for savages,
Began Meave, her gaze passing over several scraggy black-clads.
but fear not. We shan't flay you alive nor eat you for dinner. And when a truce is signed, you'll be sent home, where I most sincerely hope you'll stay this time.
As the Queen mounted her horse, she barely concealed a grimace. Her thighs were sore and chafed, her hands raw from the reins. But she bit her lip and rode on, for the prize was now very near.
Nagy dolgot gyorsan megcsinálunk. Áttesszük magunkat a szihírre.
Was in Aldersburg when it fell. Broke my heart, that did. But not complete. Now we'll take it back. Other kings could learn a thing or two from you, your majesty. Fight on! It was we who were to offer Lyria our aid. Things got turned right round. Other kings could learn a thing... Other kings could learn a... It was we who were to offer Lyria our aid.
Most azért körbe kell menni teljesen. Ennyi hülyeség. Hát ez elég nagy baromság, na mindegy. Adunk mindenkinek! Tele vagyunk pénzzel.
Meave was listening to a scout's report when screams suddenly burst from the prisoner transport. In a moment, Meave bore witness to a truly macabre sight. The Nilfgaardian captives to whom she had recently been merciful lay dead, massacred in cold blood among the camp's tents.
Blast it all.
Seethed the Queen, looking at the bloodied corpses. Those responsible for the deed, peasants from the quarry at Ravencloft, Meave had welcomed into her ranks. The harm they'd endured from Nilfgaardians wielding whips, this was what had festered in their hearts and minds. The Rivians couldn't accept that their oppressors had gone unpunished. So they took matters into their own hands, in defiance of the Queen.
There's fiends, not folk!
Cried the peasants, now armed and in uniform.
There was owed this, plain and simple.
It had been justice by a mob, and Meave knew it should not go unpunished. Yet at the last, ignoring her advisor's counsel, she left the former slaves' fate for their commanders to decide. For the Queen had grown weary of choosing between two evils, each one darker than the other.
Long live me! Long live the Queen! Long live our liberator! All's left is to drive the Blackclats from Aldersburg, and the war's won. Our Demoven's not bad, but he don't hold a candle to Meave. Our Demoven's... Long live Meave! Long live... Our Demoven's... All's left is to drive the Blackclat...
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Már nem sok van vissza. Hopp. Itt lesz majd valami csata. Először elmegyünk erre.
The good mothers guided you to victory. Nilfgaard angered the gods. Too much pride in them, not enough humility. The entire North owes you thanks, milady. And you, the gods. The good mothers guided you to victory. The entire North.
Jó, ezzel is meg vagyunk. Most jön ez.
Meave noticed one of her scouts, a certain Corporal Larkin, halt his mount and train his gaze on the woods.
Your Grace, I thought I heard something. Could have sworn. A whisper, maybe, but... nothing now. It's all gone quiet. I think I might have imagined it, in fact.
Imagined?
Meave placed her hand on his shoulder.
No one has sharper senses than you. If you claim to have heard something, it's worth a closer look.
Corporal Larkin saluted, then rode past the trees. Suddenly in shadow, he keenly scanned his surroundings. Something caught his attention. He dismounted, then brushed aside ferns, exposing tracks made in the mud.
Your Majesty!
He shouted, quickly turning towards the road.
Sound the alarm! It's Squirt!
An arrow whisked through the air, pierced his throat, and suddenly silenced him. Then the forest came alive with cries in the Elder tongue. Elves on the attack.
Öcsém, nem hagynak már nyugtan itt a végén az elfek se. Dobra nincs szükségem, erre sincs szükségem. Gaszkon nem kell, ő nem kell. Odó az jó. Pont a kutyát. Na mindegy.
Got business for me?
Hey? Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Nay, Duan Vacamest. Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Még nem.
May your sword and arm be one.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
None shall tread on us! Now we will see who is weak!
Oh, my little A.
We must trust each other.
Na, nézzük, mit adnak.
The storm is coming. Let's enjoy the weather while we still can.
Death to humans!
És még egy lapja van.
For you, pal! Anything.
Renner, stop! We surrender!
The Scoia'tael fighters stood no chance against Meve. When the sounds of battle finally ceased, the Queen, victorious, tossed aside her arrow-studded shield. She then ordered the commando's leader brought before her. She'd expected a ranter who would turn up his nose, spit in her face, and cry, "Death to all Dwan!" But the bloodied elf before her was no arrogant firebrand. He averted his gaze, and his lips gently trembled.
Youthful you look, elf. How many summers to you? 30? More?
27, my lady.
27. A wonderful age. A shame to die so young.
I beg you, Renner. For mercy, I ask. If not for me, then at the least for...
Mercy? You jest. You wait in ambush, come at us like bandits, and now you dare ask for mercy.
It was no ambush.
Don't play me for a fool. I know what I saw, and am no stranger to warcraft.
It's not you we wished to fight. Sverre.
Then who killed Corporal Larkin, Werebubs?
When we saw you on the high road, we fell back and hid in the wood. We wanted you to pass. Your scout's hearing, very keen. He heard something, then spotted our tracks. You must understand. We had no choice.
You know you might have surrendered.
Like Dristan's commando. Is that what you mean? They laid down their arms before an Edirnian general, who ordered them hanged. One and all. If we're to die, we prefer to die bows and swords in hand.
Why are you here? Were you to rescue Epdahi?
Rescue someone? No, Renna. We flee. The Nilfgaardians have realized they'll lose the war and have renounced us. Without their support, we stand no chance. Demavend has loosed his hounds. They hunt our units one by one. He's offered 50 gold pieces for the head of each Scoia'tael. It's the same in Temeria and Kedwen, if not worse. We wished to join with your Veth's unit, flee together as far as we could. It was our last hope.
Why do you tell me all this?
Because you listen still. You've not ordered me killed, so you've clearly a heart. Eseth Aina Edu. I beg you. So few of us remain. All tired, all wounded. We pose no threat. Let us leave your realm. Let us flee.
Hát nem tudom. Jó, küldj.
Enough senseless killing for one day. So be it. You're free to leave.
I don't know how to thank you.
Make certain I don't ever regret this decision. 'Twould be thanks enough.
I thank you for your compassion towards me and all my folk.
Meve personally unfastened the prisoner's chains as her Lyrians looked on in silence. They did not approve, this was clear. Their displeasure was palpable.
Jó van, lemegyünk, ez egy morálból, csé, hát. Még itt van egy loot.
We're building all anew. Treat yourself to our new view. For a better future through and through. First foundations hoist the walls, then we'll revel in its halls. Everyone's doing their part to rebuild the homeland. First foundations, everyone's doing their first found.
Na, ezt a teljesítményt is elértük, hogy minden levelet elolvastunk. Hát már kezdtem csalódott lenni, hogy elhagytunk egy levelet. Ez volt itt is? Ezt akartam mutatni? A Royal Tentbe gondolom. Na, összearrácsoltunk mindent, amit lehetett. Irány a csatába.
It'd be an honor to fight at your side, Majesty. Side by side, we'll kick those blackclads across the Yaruga.
Long live Eden! Long live Rivia! Long live Hyrule! Lyria!
Zelda referencia.
Side by side, we'll kick those blackclads across the Yaruga.
The Lyrian corps neared Aldersburg. outside, it could not have been on a more idyllic day. The sun shone, birds sang, trees rustled in a light breeze. But Maeve saw it as she had at the war's start. Walls illumined by a fire's glow, the cries of fleeing civilians, the stench of burning flesh. As on that day, Aldersburg was under siege. Yet this time, Eden's flags fluttered in the field, while Nilfgaard's tattered sons crowned the fort's towers. The Queen found Demavend's tent without difficulty. Made of sheets of silk edged with silver thread, it positively shone.
Seems the realm's restored to a virtuous path,
muttered Maeve.
Aha! There she is! Queen Maeve, savior of the North, the Sun Slayer.
Mockery I don't appreciate.
I wouldn't dare. Not my words, those. You've been painted thus in song. Master Dandelion himself wrote a ballad, The Battle for the Bridge. If you take the bard at his word, you're as fierce with a blade as any witcher.
Is that jealousy I hear?
To be perfectly honest, Maeve, it is. For I hadn't the pluck nor resolve. And when all the North tucked tail, went to shite, you alone stepped up and bared your fangs. Let it be a lesson for the future to us all.
You called out the future. Tell me, how's your son?
Baldwin. Ah, growing like a weed he is. And the spitting image of his old man.
Good news all, especially given the mother's profession.
She's now Countess Demeretta of Gullet, a lady of the court.
Oh, your lawful wife must be thrilled.
Hard to say in truth. I've not seen her in some time. Duty keeps me away, you understand.
You work hard, I'm certain. Many a night, too.
You might say so indeed. But enough about me. As we're chirping away like two gossips in the field, do tell me, what of Willem?
He perished in the assault on Rivia Castle.
Ah. Oh my. Fighting for which side?
The right one. Demavend, the wound is fresh, the pain immense. I'd rather we not speak of it. A lesson for the future? What do you mean?
My dear, this war won't change a bloody thing, you know. Nilfgaard will be Nilfgaard, the North the North. We'll sign a truce, the Blackclads will turn tail towards home, but the old borders don't satisfy a soul.
I'm perfectly satisfied with them, thank you. And I just wish other folk would respect them too.
Ah, Maeve. You're one hell of a warrior, but you're no strategist at all. Your perspective, you've got to broaden it. Nilfgaard, we cannot allow it to regain strength and spirit, else we'll face another invasion within a decade or two. Measures are required. Preventive, preemptive, whatever the learned call it. Build an army, a vast one. Wait in ambush. And when they least expect it, break their bloody spine. Just think if we were to join forces.
Enough. I don't wish to hear it. Won't even entertain the thought. I'll help you take Aldersburg, but then I'll go home, where, God's willing, I'll live to a ripe old age.
As you wish. We can mount the assault at any time, but...
But?
My scouts report a small Nilfgaardian force approaching from the south. They've stayed off the roads, moved only under the cover of night, escorting someone.
Who?
I've no notion. Could be a mage. Devilishly unpredictable, that lot. Could wreak havoc in our ranks. Either way, before we rush at the walls, we must make certain they don't reach Aldersburg at all.
I shall see to it.
Are you sure? You've just arrived. Must be weary after the long journey.
An understatement if I ever heard one. But I wish all this to be over, quickly.
Maeve set out after the Nilfgaardians immediately, a cavalry escort in tow. Her unmatched scouts, who had led the army through the mountains of Mahakam and Angren swamps, quickly found the enemy's trail.
This way, Your Grace. There's not far now.
That very same day, Meave's force caught up to the mysterious black-clad unit. Lyrian riders surrounded the foe, forcing the Nilfgaardians to halt. All fell so quiet, the creaking of taut Lyrian bowstrings could be discerned.
The common tongue. Which of you knows it?
I do, Your Majesty.
You also know who you deal with, I see. What is your name?
Kaldvin, Your Majesty.
At last, a Nilfgaardian name I can pronounce. So, Kaldwin, it seems this war will reach its end in 2 days' time at the most. 'Twould be silly to die today, wouldn't you agree?
It would, milady.
Precisely. I've spilled enough blood. I've lost the appetite for more. So, provided you don't give me a good reason to kill you, you'll walk away with your lives. Now tell me. You carry something for General Ebdahi. What is it?
A letter.
Urgent to the point of insanity, it must be. Who wrote it? The dear Madam Ebdahi?
No, Your Majesty. The Emperor.
My. A letter from Emir himself. You must be an important person. A noble, or... Yet your uniform is simple, with no discernible distinctions. Who are you truly, Kaldwin? A spy?
A simple messenger, Your Majesty.
Don't lie. I know messengers, how they travel. Alone, armorless, atop a swift steed. You're escorted by cavalry of the heavy sort.
For I often carry orders the recipients don't wish to perform, thus the escort.
Give me the letter.
I've sworn to deliver it to General Ebdahi, or to die in the quest to do so.
Oh, very well. My translator shall read this letter, then return it to you. You shall break no vow, and who knows? You might even survive.
And if I refuse?
Guess.
So be it. I accept your offer.
Meave's translator cracked the seal and read. And as he read, his eyes grew wide as saucers. Then he whispered in the Queen's ear.
Truly, and you're certain you're not mistaken. The wonders of this world. Kaldwin, consider this your lucky day. I allow you to complete your mission, with one proviso.
And that is?
That when you hand him the letter, you will give the General my regards.
As Kaldwin and escort set off towards Aldersburg, the Lyrian soldiers looked at their queen with disbelief. To leave a Nilfgaardian to fulfill a secretive task? Meave failed to stifle a rather mean laugh. They'll understand tomorrow, she thought. General Ebdahi had prefaced Lyria's and Rivia's invasion with a series of arrogant demands. The Nilfgaardian had been impudent, as he had felt sure he'd achieve a quick and decisive victory. Yet several months on, he too received an ultimatum. One signed by Emperor Emir var Emreis himself. The missive was concise and left no room for interpretation. With General Ebdahi dead, the Nilfgaardian army descended into chaos. The kings of the north, united, took advantage and struck at the foe. Their victory was complete. The Nordling forces cheered their commanders and monarchs, but for none so vehemently as the one queen among them. Many dream of achieving the impossible. Meave had done it. Through wit, determination, and boldness, she had thwarted the Nilfgaardian invasion. The queen would rule for many more years. Stern, yet ever just.
Ha! So a lass saved the North from the Blackclads?
That is one way to put it.
Well, I'll be damned. And a chap, she find herself one in the end?
Leave it be. Bloke's been spinning the tale all night. Story's done. Time we got some shut-eye.
Yes. Particularly as we've yet a long road before us.
Phew. Throat must be parched as old leather after all that. Except, I'm itching to know what happened to the lot of them. Reynard, Gascon.
Ah, very well. Whom shall we start with? Willem? A pawn, a tool in others' hands. Most, if not all, had seen him thus. Yet in the end, he proved his worth soundly. Though he'd started the war a traitor, he perished in the fray a hero, and would be remembered as such. Having settled in Riviere, Gascon embarked on a life worthy of his noble origins. In doublet and ruff, he looked to his ample fields and livestock in daytime, attended banquets and feasts come the eve. And then one night, he grabbed his bow and quiver, saddled his favorite mount, and disappeared without a trace. As news of the Nordling victory filtered south, Nilfgaard's inhabitants greeted it with disbelief. Returning Imperial soldiers told stories of Lyria's cruel queen, who murdered prisoners and sullied sacred laws. They referred to her as Gvaeldet, the bloodthirsty one. With the advent of peace, tensions waned. Lyria's and Riviere's disparate races seemed to live harmoniously, side by side. The Queen pressed for new laws aimed at curbing oppression. They were a step towards more enlightened rule, yet sadly were habitually broken. And Meve? As I said, she ruled with an iron hand, not fist. Reynard ever at her side, tempering, supportive. No longer a general and trusted advisor, he had to the Queen become something more. Much, much more. And now, if you'd allow me...
Course. Leave him be, lads. Let him get some rest. Till the time comes for the next tale.
Na, végeztünk. Köszönöm mindenkinek, aki velem tartott. Itt hagyom a stáblistát lepörögni. Amint vége befejezem a streamet, és akkor a legközelebbi streamben valami új játékkal, lehet, hogy a Witness-szel egy ilyen logikai játékkal fogjuk folytatni. Akinek tetszett a stream, nyugodtan kövessen be, és akkor látni fogja, hogy mikor streamelek. És mindenkinek további kellemes hétvégét, és jó estét kívánok. Sziasztok!